Stream is live. We're rocking it out here at bit.ly/monthly health. That's where the action's at. If you're watching on Facebook, we're dual casting. I teach you how to do that in some of my latest videos, but with that being said, today, as you can see, it's all about health, wealth, and happiness. Monthly mastery. This is what, our 9th month as we've moved across, helping people improve their lives, grow their business, rocking it out. So that we got a lot on the agenda today. We're going to do 60 minutes of training. If this is your first time here, we do it 3 ways. We talk big picture perspective first, then we dial into training, specific things that help level these areas up, which we'll be covering just a little bit. Then we dive into tactics. My dream for you is as soon as we're done, is that you have specific things that can be put in play like the moment we're done recording. And you make change in your life, towards the better, of course. So I hope you're having an amazing day. Absolutely loving how far you are in 2018. Hit a real pivotal point. What was that? Let's see here. 7 days ago, going into second quarter of 2018. We're going to talk about a practice that I put in play to make sure that I keep focused and simplify my life. And I put it in play with a lot of others too. So if you're just joining us, thank you so much for being here with me today. Something we do once a month, this health, wealth, and happiness monthly mastery. Then we take an hour off, then we get into business and internet monthly mastery, where I go through a lot of the practices that we're putting in play on the implementation side to grow purposeful, passionate, positive, productive, and profitable businesses using the power of relationships and the power of, you know what, offers and transactions. It's part of my formula. So that being said, let's jump into today's work. If you don't have it yet, go ahead and get the life assessment, because that's what we're going to use to get that perspective. And if you're on Facebook, go ahead and go to bit.ly/monthly health. You'll see you can download it there. And also get the wheel of perspective, because that's going to really dial in these 10 critical areas that some people call, it's common sense, but we're really trying to own this for you today. And I want to make sure as we go into 2018 second quarter that you are set, you know what you need to do to increase your focus, to go after what you want to go after, maybe get rid of some distraction, whatever that is for you, and then dial in simplifying your life. Because this is what I know. I've coached hundreds of people now over the last 6 years in high performance. I've worked with thousands of entrepreneurs over the last 25 years. And here's what a lot of them said. They feel overwhelmed, stress, and they need to be more clear about what they really have to go after, So we're going to have that conversation. It's going to be a thread of today's work. So with that being said, if you have the life assessment, go ahead and print it. If you have the wheel of perspective, go ahead and print it. My dream for you is to have these things and you note your progress every month. So as we're moving through this work, you write your name and you put the date, name and date, and then you can put it in like a ring binder or a folder, and you can see that you've made progress over the last few months. Or if today's your first day, today's where we start, right? So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into my life assessment. And basically what this is 7 critical areas that help you feel healthy, we'll say wealthy, but not only in the financial piece, in the idea of living a life where you've got the things that keep joy, confidence, engagement, that really make you feel like you're living the full life. So go ahead and get the life assessment. Before we start, I came across something this week that kind of blew my mind. I didn't get it yet, but I'm thinking about it. And it's called Ticker, Tikker. And what it is a watch. And you can see I put it up here. Life is short, Ticker. What it is a watch that shows you, based on some questions you answer, about how much time you have left on this beautiful planet of ours. And it literally counts it down, along with providing the time and the date and that kind of stuff. And what a powerful reminder, There was a video by a group, Nickelback, called Save Me, I think. Somebody Save Me? I don't know if that's the name of the song. But in the video, they had times above people's heads that one person could see that showed the amount of seconds that they have left in their life. And you see a baby with a lot of time. You see somebody in their 20s or 30s with a lot of time. And it was really critical as we think this through. One of my beliefs is we're on this planet for a short amount of time. And if there's negative or neutral messaging playing, we really need to help you Get that out of your head. The unfortunate piece, as I kind of allude to in today's topic, is that negative and neutral messaging is prominent because that keeps eyeballs on things. And the news knows this. You know, certain websites know this. Things, people know this because we're like, oh, what's going on there? You know, we're kind of connected to that. So today is a beacon of hope in the world of positivity. With that all being said, let's jump into the life assessment. As always, I'm going to rate myself in these areas and see where I stand so that I can serve as maybe a role model, be open and vulnerable with you to really help you understand, you know, maybe this is an area that I need to work on or that you need some illustration or insight on how to work on. So the very first question or statement in the life assessment is this: I am where I thought I'd be at this point in my life. Overall, I'm living into the best version of myself for me, those I care for and love, and the world. So think about, and I really want to frame today's assessment work for first quarter of 2018, the first 3 months. So think about the last 3 months. 0, not anywhere where I want to be at this point in my life. 10, I'm owning it. I'm living my fully expressed life. I'm really in the best version of myself for me, for those I care for and love, and the world. You know? So what is that for you? And I think today we're going to do Brandon Laughing House No Sevens Challenge to make sure we're owning that. So 0 to 10, but you can't rate yourself a 7. So if you're below an 8, guess what? There's work to be done, right? So what is that for you? So this presumes, of course, that you know what the best version of you is. And we got to think that through a little bit. Like, what is the best version of me? I know this isn't a good version of me. Sometimes I have people put on one sheet of paper, the best version of me is, and they just describe using bullet points, stuff like that. And then they put the not so best version of me is, and they put stuff over here, right? And have that list is much bigger than this version. But if you do that list, you can kind of juxtaposition or yin and yang and say, you know what, if it's not that, if that is not the best version of me, what is that in terms of the best version of me? Like a great illustration is a relationship with somebody close to you. Like the best version of me isn't being grumpy. A better version of me is being happy and supportive. So if that's showing up for you, think about how you can make that a reality. That's number 1. Number 2, and I'm going to rate mine at the end, and we'll just go through and I'll kind of give you the reasons why, just to speed this along. We got a lot to cover today. Number 2, my best self. Overall, I feel healthy, happy, and energized. My energy levels are consistent throughout the day and even sustain in the evenings until I start to wind down for bed. So my dream for you is very clearly that you get up and have a sustained amount of consistent energy. And then you know what? Body says it's time to go to sleep. It dives and you get good sound sleep. As opposed to when the people self-report when they have a lot of sugar, caffeine, you'll see this going on throughout the day and they'll crash around 2 after having a carb-heavy lunch. So our job, if we're living into the best version of ourselves, is to really dial this in. I can tell you, because I used to be the guy that was doing this at 270 pounds. I'm at 195-ish today, right where I want to be, but with sustained energy. So it's a big principle of what we teach in high performance, and it's a principle for you. If this is below an 8 for you, and it had to be a 6 or below because there's no 7 challenge today, what is it that you can do to start to sustain higher energy or consistent energy? And I'll give you a hint as we step into the wheel of perspective, these 10 needle movers, you're going to see these things show up for you. Obviously, number 1 is get the right amount of sleep and make sure it's good quality sleep, right? That's the gate opener to so much. So we'll be talking that through. So whatever it is for you, just go ahead and rate. And please don't worry, if it's low, if it's like a 2 or a 1, that's why I'm here. I'm here to support you, to challenge you, to give you distinctions, to really help you down your path. And I may be the only person on the planet who does not bring judgment to where you're at and is completely supportive of you, and I take that incredibly seriously. I get that feedback a lot from the people that I work with one-on-one. They're like, just this week, 2 people, they're like, you're the only person that I can actually talk to that hears me, that listens to where I'm at, but challenges me or gives me illustrations on how to grow, you know? And I hope that in some way you're that for somebody. And if you're like, I can't be that, would never be that, and maybe some negative energy is coming around or neutral energy, that we're working today to help you maybe progress through that, you know? Life, as I said earlier, ticker will tell you, wear that watch, life's short. What do you want to do on this planet? We'll get to that as part of this assessment too. So, number 3, no 7s challenge, my relationships. I work diligently to create, build, and maintain great relationships with those around me. I feel I'm a good role model for my loved ones, those close to me, and the world. I consistently listen well, show compassion for myself and others, and get this, communicate my thoughts and feelings. Wow, ran into some major showstoppers for a couple businesses and a couple couples in the last 3 weeks. Where communication, one couple said, when we first got together, we talk and talk and talk. And I haven't really sat down and talked with my lady in maybe a year, the way we used to. And even then, it wasn't 10% of what it was before. So this is a drive for us. Humans are communicative animals, right? Where are you falling on this one with your relationships? 0, not doing well at all. What relationships? Don't even know what that means. 10, owning it. Can't be a 7. So if it is below an 8, you got to think about one thing you can do to level that up. Really, really critical. Now, the illustration I always use is to take maybe a friend or somebody close to you and just say, here's a couple of things that I've been thinking a lot about. Would you have a few minutes so I could share them with you? And then just be open, vulnerable, honest. And I can say just be that, but it's to practice that. Like it's working out, right? Working a muscle. Working your open, vulnerable, honest muscle. You'd be surprised at how that can overcome certain things in a relationship. And I just want to make sure we're delivering for you. Number 4, which is a big part of what we're going to cover today to help you level up. Stress, overwhelm, and clarity. So thinking about all of 2018 so far, I'm going to read this. I want you to think about what it is here for you. Realistically, how do you rate yourself? How much you agree with this statement? I have great stress management practices in my life. When I do get stressed, I know exactly what to do to reduce or remove it from my life. I typically do not feel overwhelmed or distracted because I have clarity of who I am and what I should be doing every day. Now that's a big one, right? But the arc of it is this. When stress shows up, overwhelm, it's like, okay, I sense it. I know what I need to be doing, but right now I need to reset, recharge, rejuvenate. So my question for you is, do you have practices in play that reset, recharge, rejuvenate? Like one of my practices is to put my headphones on, head down to the hot tub, listen to Frank Sinatra. Very simple illustration, but that works for me. I just concentrate on the lyrics and just chill. 5-10 minutes is all it really takes. But there's a sensation of a reset. So it may be music for you. It might be a kind of thing like a hot tub or a bath. Whatever it is, the highest performers in life, they know what those things are, and when they sense stuff happening, they're in. They make the shift, they go after it. You follow? I hope this is helping you. My dream for you is like we talked about at the beginning, framing around ticker, that watch you wear that shows you the amount of time you got left on this beautiful planet, that you've got practices in play to make sure that negative neutral time is minimized, and more importantly, you have practices to get you course corrected. Cool? All right. Number 5, my career, my mission. The work I do in the world is meaningful to me. I believe I'm consistent about living in alignment with what the best use of me, my passions, and my talents are. So think about first quarter 2018, how you doing there? Doing all right? Things falling apart? What's showing up? So many people I work with, they're like, I thought I wanted to go after this dream and I got into it and I'm like, I don't like this. So they got to course correct. Others have gotten into it and it opened up other doors and then they're after that. Big part of this is that whole scene. So I hope this is helping you a little bit. If you rate yourself 0 to 10, remember there's no 7s today, think about what it is to level that up even half a notch. Like what's something you could go and research on Job Builder, Career Builder, whatever those sites are, or maybe a practice or a talent you have that you could share. Maybe you make good graphics. You could go on sites where they, like guru.com I think it is, what is the other one, Fiverr, and offer your services just to maybe see if there's something there for you, Just to live purposefully and passionately, but using your talents too. Big part of this. Number 6, my hobbies and passions, presuming you have some. If you don't, we got work to do. Here's the question, statement. Again, 0 to 10 with how much you agree to it. can't rate a 7 today. There's no 7s challenge. I know and I understand the importance of having hobbies to help me continually connect with my creative and self-expressive side. I'm consistent about nurturing my hobbies and passions. So if we reflected back on first quarter 2018, January, February, March, how much time were you doing consistently in your hobbies and passions? I got to tell you, I'm going to rate myself low there. When we get through this, I'll rate myself and everything. Because the guitars are right off camera. Have I been playing them every day, every week? Nope. I've been doing a lot of other things, setting up for bigger things, bigger ambitions. And I know that. So I'm really working as I go into second quarter now to own that, to bring that in. Even 5 to 10 minutes a day, whatever that is. That's the shift. Finally, and this is everything about this, the life is short, the ticker. Ticker, that watch you wear that shows you how much time you have left on this planet. My life's ambitions. If I died tomorrow, I wouldn't have any regrets. I've lived a life where I've paid attention to and taken action on my life's ambitions. At least once a year, I reevaluate my life's ambitions and schedule time for them. I'm going to say that part again. At least once a year, I reevaluate my life's ambitions and schedule time for them. Is that showing up for you? Do you even have life's ambitions? 0 to 10, where are you at here? Have you been living into them consistently? First quarter 2018? Have you fallen apart from the dream of what's possible? You know, there's so much great content on YouTube, for example, that can stoke ideas for your life's ambitions. Whether that's traveling the world, like Daniel in our group. Daniel, I hope you're having a blast down there in South America. I've been loving your updates. My man, rocking it with his lovely lady, Kate. Or simply going after new things, you know, learning new things, creating from what you've learned, sharing your creations with the world. We'll talk about that in a minute in happiness. So with whatever you showed up with on the life assessment today, reflecting back on first quarter, no 7 challenge going on, what is it for you? The job here is this, is to pick one area, just one, and say for the next week, I'm going to work on that. And maybe you can up-level half a point, whatever that is, or even just a little bit, and just own that. Biggest practice is people get overwhelmed with this. It's just picking one. And if you got your schedule out, putting it in the schedule as a week-long event. So for example, this week, starting tomorrow, I'm going to work on my life's ambitions. I'm going to work on defining them, seeing what's possible, and then putting some plans together to go after them. Cool? So let me go through my ratings real quick. That'll help you out. I'm going to do it in red so you know. Right now, I am where I thought I'd be at this point in my life. Feeling really good there. There's always room for improvement. I give myself a 9. Overall, I'm feeling happy, healthy, and energized. Yes, and my energy levels are consistent. That's a 9. My relationships, I've been working diligently, just right now with you, right here, to create, build, and maintain exceptional relationships. I'm going to give myself a 9+ because I know I can do a much better job. That's really kind of hitting the rim of what's possible there for me. Stress, overwhelm, and clarity. I do have those practices in play. I'm very clear about what I've got going on, so there's a 10 there. My career and mission, the work I do right here with you is part of that. And it's incredibly meaningful to me. I'm very clear about that. And please know, I've been working on this for many, 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 many years diligently. So if you're below a 6, 5, 4, whatever it is, that's totally cool. I'm here to help you level that up. And I'm hoping today we'll give you a clearer path on how to do that exactly. Cool? All right. And then next we have my hobbies and passions. I told you I need work there. I'm going to give myself a 6. My life's ambitions, really powerful there. Yes, I think I would have regrets if I died tomorrow because I haven't been able to actualize so many of the things that I want to do with my girls. You know, we want to have more travel. We have some planned. I want to make sure as they're going through their teenage years that we're doing things that help them with life's sort of tools to better handle work, contribution. A lot of stuff we're talking about here, don't know that I'm doing as good of a job there as I probably could, so I'm working on those kinds of things. Just want to make sure I'm open with you so that you understand what I'm up to, and if you have any hints, tips, or whatever, share them in the comments below. I'd love to hear. Cool? All right, let's dive into the Wheel of Perspective. If you don't have it, you can go online and get it at bit.ly/monthlyhealth. You'll see it down there as a downloadable. Click it. It'll go to a page where you can get this guy. All this does is it graphically shows you where you're out of balance in life. And it's incredibly important for me to help you understand, you know what, here's the things that need some work. Once we get these on top of your mental dashboard, then there's a like, okay, geez, I really do need a little more rest. Even 30 minutes more a night, that could be a game changer. It was for me. It has been for many people. That's where we're gonna start. So here we go, 0 to 10. Again, no 7s today on these 10 areas. And a lot of this stuff's common sense, but is it, as we say in high performance, common practice, right? So if you're like, yeah, I know sleep, but I want you to ask yourself, are you getting the right amount of rest? You follow? Good stuff. Thank you so much for being here with me. I hope you're getting something out of this today. Really, really important. And this is my mission on this planet, is to meet with you once a month to train you, teach you, help you keep perspective. And then, as we know from the mastery community work we do, is to sit and have Q&A. So today we got this going on. Then we have our Business and Internet Monthly Mastery starting at, noon? Noon to 1. And then at 1:30 we got our Zoom roundtable where we're gonna just chill, have some fun, have some conversation about anything. Could be about the stuff we're covered today, could be about anything else. We got a couple questions already lined up for that. Big part of this whole drive is to make sure you're taken care of. So that being framed, let's go ahead and pop through the wheel of perspective. First, sleep. Have you been getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night? Well rested. Meaning when you wake up, you feel like, yeah, I'm good, let's go. Not, can I have another hour? Snooze, snooze, snooze. So what is that for you? 0, no, I don't even know what sleep is, barely get any. 10, owning it. Can't be a 7. Thanks, Brandon, for that challenge. My man, rocking it. 2, hydration. I've been consciously drinking water daily. I got 2 bottles of water right here. As a matter of fact, let's take a little hydration break, shall we? And rock this. And why don't we honor the struggle? And rock that. Big part of this is having water there. You know, the number one thing people have told me as I've coached them about physiology is the fact that they just need to have water around them. When it's there, they drink it. And I tell you, a lot of people like me included have noticed drinking more water has reduced headaches, has really helped them reduce those dull headaches they get from, and it really is from dehydration. So big part of that. How you doing? 0 to 10, no 7s. Third, eating nutrient rich. 80% of the time, as you probably have heard me say before, this means eating from the rainbow. Doesn't mean eating Skittles. It means eating greens. Like just before, and actually got it right here, the kale smoothie. Grandma Linda, Papa Mike, 2 of the people that look at me and give me a like, why are you eating that? When I make these shakes, this one's for you. 80% of the time, nutrient rich. How you doing there? 0 to 10, no 7s. Fourth, exercise. At least 2 to 3 times a week, I'm getting sweaty. Going after it. Making a big shift for some to really going after it. And if you do more than that, awesome. But if you're just kind of humming through your days, here's what we know, and you probably know this too. You get the exercise, you feel vibrant, ready. You're better for yourself, your lover, those you care for, serve, just people in general, right? That's the scene. So how you doing? 0 to 10, and we're going to frame this back, 2018 so far. What's showing up there? And I'd love to hear from you. If you think, you know what, I could do a little better here, I could do much better here. What's one thing that you could jump to really go after it? Comment below and say, you know what, Char, I'm ready to go after this, or maybe I'm going to do this in addition to what I'm already doing. Whatever that is, I would love to hear. That's number 4. Number 5 is breaks. I have been taking breaks every 50 to 90 minutes. If you haven't heard, taking breaks to reset, recharge, rejuvenate. I love the principle of WMEI. Take a 2-minute walk, followed by a 2-minute meditation, or listening to music, something soothing, something that kind of clears your mind for 2 minutes. So M is music or meditation. Third, energize for 60 seconds. That could be standing in place, bouncing, breathing deeply, whatever that is. Fourth is to set intention, to visualize for 30 seconds. I'm going to go into this next time chunk of 60 to 90 minutes, and I'm going to be very clear about what I want to feel by the end of it and through it. Very, very critical. People that do that feel a lot more engaged in their day, engaged with the people they're with, And you know what? They feel engaged with themselves. They like we talk about up here with life is short and ticker, the idea that, you know what, if I'm really living into this, this is critical for me to own this whole short amount of time on this planet where I'm not feeling like Tarzaning through reactionary things. Like just, oh, I gotta handle this, gotta handle this, gotta handle this. By the time the day's done, you're like, I don't even know what I did today, but I know I don't feel good. So what is that for you? Let's dial that in. Next 5, happiness. 2 points. There's so many ways to feel happy, right? 2 points that I want to make sure you hit on. 1, are you learning something new, creating from what you've learned and sharing it with the world, right? That's called what I call the trifecta of happiness. Learn something new, create from what you've learned, share it with the world. One exact principle that I use is I'll take, and I did this yesterday, I learned some new things on Instagram, about Instagram, and then I created some things around it, and then I shared those things, all inside of an hour. And you get done with that and you feel like, I learned something new. You feel this like connection with life, especially if you're the ultimate student, like I feel like I am, and I hope you are too. Second is the idea of being around people that generally uplift you. So many people I coach, they're around people that are just neutral, negative, blame, excuse, denial mindset. What is that for you? Where can you go to be around people who generally uplift you? And if you can't find that, let's connect. I'll uplift you. My promise to you. I'm here to bring in positive messaging, purposeful feelings, to empower you, to challenge you to go after it. That's my job on this planet, to be that beacon of positivity, but also directed towards real results. Give you the tactics, the training, and the perspective, as we talk about, to really go after those things. So I hope you're feeling that for me. If you know me, you know that to be true. Want to make sure I'm taking care of you, challenging you, that's the coach in me, supporting you, caring for you, even loving on you to make sure you are empowered to do what you can do. Cool? So a big part of that. Number 7 is finances. Have I been committed to auto savings and living within my means? How'd you do in March, February, January 2018? Did you go in more debt? Did you reduce debt if you have any? Did you stuff away for the future? But did you enjoy life too? Were you living well within your means? And I'm not, like I said, I don't bring judgment to this. I just want to assess where you're at and help you from wherever you're at to where you'd like to be. And maybe you don't know where you'd like to be. That's cool. We'll co-create that together. Comment below if you need help here. A lot of people I'm working with are really having a tough time right now in the financial department. And I've got some great resources that'll sort of shift for you how to think about running your own business, how to think about how to operate, how to think about credit card statements. Not like, don't even look, but kind of using some markers, maybe some green, yellow, and reds to dial that in for that mastery. And I'll help you with that too. So just comment below if you need help there. Presence. How present have you been with yourself, with others, and the world? Have you been distracted or present the first 3 months of 2018 on the average? 0 to 10, no 7s. What is that for you? Really powerful. Number 9, purpose. Have you been living, leading, I would even dare say loving, with a life of purpose? What does that actually mean? Have you been firing up Facebook Live and getting on there and going, hey guys, just want to share something with you, and share something of uplifting, positive, motivating, inspiring, helpful, and then closing it down with, I'm here for you. If you need any help with this, whatever I just covered, let me know. I may be the only person that brought this kind of messaging in light of all the neutral negative stuff that's going on. That's fine, but I'm here for you. Have you been doing stuff like that? And that may not be your thing. Have you been feeling purposeful in your relationships, in your work? Just walking through a park, connecting with nature. What is that for you? I'd love to know. And finally, the reality of all this with the Wheel of Perspective is putting together a daily plan that really puts this in the world and that you live into to make this happen. So the question with the last one, have you been in control of your daily agenda? What's showing up for you there? Or has life been in control of you? And that can be in different roles in different ways, right? We can be in control of life, but at work, it's like Tarzan swinging through the rope of responsive, reactionary things. So whatever that is for you, let's get real with it. Think about that from first quarter of this year. Dial that in. What's one thing you can do if you rate below a 8? And remember, there's no 7s today. Thanks, Brandon, for the challenge. Is to level that up even half a point. Whatever that is for you. I hope you find the self-diagnostic piece really powerful. I'm going to go through and whip through my rating so we can jump into our training today because we got a lot to cover. And where are we at? Ooh, we're a little over the halfway point. Sleep, been totally dialed in there. Hydration, can do, whoops, we can't do 8s. So I'm going to have to give myself a 7. Eating, we've had guests. You know what that means. So I'm going to say a 6. Exercise, 7. Breaks, 9. Happiness, yeah, I'm on it. Finances, yep, a 9. I think I can do a little better there. Presence, 10. Purpose, 10. Daily plan, 10 plus. Now, don't think because of my ratings that you should feel like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get there. Wherever you're at is cool. I've been working and teaching this now for, 7 years? So it's really, really important that you understand that progression comes over time. One of the big things we talk about in the world of high performance is subtle shifts over the long term equal exponential results. And it can go both ways, right? Like you can do a subtle thing like drink 3 sodas a day that you weren't drinking before and see exponential results with sugar testing in your blood and all those kind of things, diabetes, that kind of stuff. Or you can drink water, hydrate more, get more sleep, eat better, and see exponential results up, right? So it's this compound effect. I want to make sure you dial it in. So that ends the first segment of today's training. This is all about keeping perspective. And I want to make sure we're dialing that in for you. We do that every month to make sure we don't fall off in these critical areas. And I have to say, these are very encompassing with people's lives. They were well thought out. These things sometimes we call the common sense pieces. These things are the big ambition pieces, all tied to living a life that's vibrant, engaged, loving, joyous, I'll say, confident. And if you want that ticker, that watch, TIKKER, that's powerful when you look at a watch and it says, hey, you know what, based on your life and these questions we asked you, here's how much time you have left on this planet of ours, and it's counting down. Like what a fuel, stimulus to really go after living a vibrant life, you know? So with that being said, let's jump into our training today. 5 advanced strategies to increase focus and simplify life. And on Instagram today, I posted this. I said, that's not a poorly drawn bra. That right here is an infinity loop, right? An infinity loop, not a poorly drawn bra, not a cross your heart bra, whatever you want to call it. So number 1 strategy, and it goes back to everything we've been talking about, is what we call the info identity loop. What in the world does that even mean? What that represents is this. The info that you put in through seeing things, hearing things, sensing things, informs and becomes your identity. This is a common training in psychology. And the identity of you comes out into the info you put in the world, right? Once I heard this was back in 2012. Once I heard this, I'm like, I gotta tally up where I'm getting my information. That some of the things in news, for example, that they just say stuff with what a lot of us have been trained in neuro-linguistic programming. So they'll say things that just based on what they've said, it feels like it's true. And you gotta question that. My challenge for you is to question mediocrity, question what's been shoved in your face. Nothing annoys me more than sitting in an airplane seat and having them with a TV screen right in my face, forcing whatever they want down my throat. Like I'm known to put stuff over it or turn it off immediately. I'm like, I never asked to be told that, I need this certain pill to feel better, Lipitor or whatever it is. Like, don't be forcing that on me. That's info forced in my face to inform my identity, right? So my challenge for you as you think about this loop is you draw out, get a piece of paper out, and draw all the places you get your info. And be extremely careful about what those places are. And think about, is this info supporting me to feel better, to be more positive, to have a better life? Is it neutralizing me? Or is it really tagging me negatively? You follow? This is the shift. This is the advanced strategy for you. If you're not paying attention to that, I challenge you to pay more attention to that. Info to your identity. Now, on the other side, and the reason I'm doing this training with you and we're broadcasting live on Facebook today is this. I want to make sure that the stuff that I'm pushing out in the world is uplifting, purposeful, positive, and maybe forces a new perspective towards the betterment of you. I look at it like this. There's two ways I help you. One is to improve your life somehow. Two, if you have a business, is to help you grow it. And if I'm not living into those, then I need better info in here, and I need a better identity. Very rarely will you hear me live in the world of blame, excuse, denial. But I got to tell you, a lot of the people that I know who were at one time incredibly positive and so on, and now have settled on mediocrity, at least in my opinion, they've let information sources consume them. Instead of talking from ambition about what they're going to do, they're talking about the president and what's happening. Instead of living in and taking action on sports, you know what I mean, like getting out in the world and playing, they're sitting back, being dormant. And it's the info. They're just like, this is who I believe I am. And that's info. That informs and becomes their identity, and then their identity informs and becomes what they put in the world or do in the world. So I hope this hits home for you. Again, the tactics of this are everything. So if you get out a sheet of paper or a Word document, write down, here's the info that informs who I am every day. Here's the places that I'm getting that information. Here is the changes that I'm going to make, maybe 1, 2, or 3 that are going to really shift where I get info. And if you need sources for good information that's uplifting and growth oriented, ties into a lot of what we've talked about here, comment below. I will bombard you along the topics of what you want. And if you don't have any idea of what you want to learn, then you and I need to talk. Because as we talked about from the beginning, life is short. It's whipping by, and I want to make sure you're doing what you need to do to at least be ambitious so that you don't have any regrets as you go through life, especially near the end of your life. If you haven't read the book yet, get it, or go on Google and read the blog post, The 5 Regrets of the Dying by Bronnie Ware. Happiness, keeping in touch with my friends, having inspirational conversation with what we call in high performance growth friends. These things are critical towards this piece. You know how it is. You're around people who are dishing out blame, excuse, denial, and then you kind of fall into it, unless you consciously decide not to. That informs and becomes your identity. Imagine being around 5 people who are talking about their ambitions and what they're doing in the world. The growth mentality. Totally different. Now, I know that got heavy, and I want to thank you for being here, but I got to challenge you. That's the coach in me. And I will challenge you to your benefit, to the people you care for, love, and serve's benefit for as long as you'll let me. Because that's what my job is on this planet, is to help you, support you, care for you, take care of you, and really go after those ambitions. And if you haven't dreamed in a while about what that can be, let's talk. Let me know what that is. You might have saw me in the Superman shirt earlier this week answering questions, but that was it. A couple people had, you know what, I don't know how to live a life where I feel like I'm caught up. Brent, I want to shout out to you. Thank you. A lot of people really got a lot out of that. So if you have a question about this, pop it below, because we'll make sure you're taken care of, no doubt. Number 2 in the 5 advanced strategies to increase focus and simplify life. Number 2, I call it the 90% challenge. Use MED, minimum effective dose. What the heck does that even mean? In 2006, I went through a divorce, and that actually worked out where we're good friends in the sense that we're co-parents and good friends. Shout out to Tara. Rocking it. But the idea was, I said, I can live with 90% less things, and I'll bet you I'll be more happy in life. That was scary for me. It was inspired by Tim Ferriss's 4-hour work week, where he's like, I put 80% of my stuff in storage, and I lived a life of less things with more experience. So the theme here along this line is this. Are you living a life of stuff, or are you living a life of experience? Right? So in my mind, I went through what I call, or we teach, as the formula for change. And I said, the vision is to live a life with less stuff And the first steps that I need to take to get there are to sell or get rid of 90% of my things. And it got real clear to me what the essence of what I needed. I love to work on the computer to serve the world, so I need a computer. I need a place where I can help you, a video studio, right? I need specific things, and I love this framing from the book of Untidy, what is that book? Mary Kondo, I think? Art of Untidy. Basically, she simplifies it where if something doesn't bring you joy or isn't useful, get rid of it. And I did that. So my challenge for you is incredibly clear. 90% challenge. Really consider getting rid of 90% of the things that either don't bring you joy or aren't useful, and see how your life feels. So I was really blessed early on when we sold our big business in 2000 that we went into a motorhome for about a year. Big bus kind. We actually retired, went in a big motorhome, and I was like the youngest guy on the road driving one of those buses. It was hilarious. I was also living into my dream as being a truck driver because when I was little, before I got into computers, I wanted to be a truck driver. And so this idea was amazing to me. But here's what I learned. I was like, how am I going to deal with not having my stuff and this, that, and the other thing? I lived so simple. Everything was within arm's reach. That painted the vision for what's possible. Then moving to Florida, I studied a lot of meteorology and weather back in college. It was like, we got to know what we got to take if a hurricane comes. So it really forced me to get to the core of what I really need. It's not a lot. Some pictures, a couple files, my computer, and my backups. You follow? So if that helps frame this for you around this guy, maybe that's what you need to hear right now. Pretty cool? Excellent. So if you need more clarification there, let me know, because I'll be happy to do a separate video on that about exactly what I did. The simplest form is this. Envision a hurricane's coming, and you look around and be like, what can we rebuy and what can we not? That are just things that I have to have with me, no matter what. And you're going to be surprised at how little you actually need. Cool? All right. Number 3 is evaluate. Huge thing I'm doing with my Mastery community members right now is evaluate for the first quarter of 2018 where you need to clean up. This goes right back to here and here. Like, what do I need to clean up in terms of what I'm watching and viewing every day? What do I need to clean up in terms of the things that I have around me that are just annoying, that take up space, that make my brain feel overwhelmed, right? Second, what do I need to set up going into second quarter, which started 7 days ago, to feel better, a simpler life, to have better focus? What are things, if I walked in the door of my office, I walked in the door of my home, how would it feel if things were simple and I was in a creative space? For some, that's candles are lit, lamps are on, very little stuff on the counters, stuff's put away or gotten rid of. That's a big part of this. This is an advanced strategy. Finally, number 3, and this is a huge piece, where do I need to level up? About my personality, so that I don't let more stuff in. That, you know what? It's behavioral, and I got to go to CNN.com, and I got to go to these sites.com, and every time I do, I feel like I don't have enough, or I feel inadequate, or whatever it is. Where do I need to level up? What are the new places that I need to go? And reprogram my brain and my being to go after those. You follow? Clean up, set up, level up. That's it. It's the essence of survival, is what I call it. Let me draw that in for you. I want to make sure you understand what that means in light of what we trained so far today. What's the essence of what you need for survival? You know, for so many people, give me a laptop, a cup of coffee, and a nice cozy room, and I'm in. That's it. I can communicate with the world. I can share my business or my ideas or whatever it is. That's all I need. And they can move around literally from state to state, country to country, and do that and have a really ambitious life, traveling the world. I know a few people that are doing that right now, and they're making a lot of money doing it. Didn't believe they could 6 months ago. You follow? Very important. Next is dial in your frequency. Here's the way I view this. And this is something that there's been some studies done with as well. Everybody operates at a certain frequency, a vibration, right? And a lot of people that are in the negative, neutral part, they operate at lower frequencies. And what we're trying to do is dial in a higher frequency. We're trying to say, okay, what do we need to do here, here, here to dial in living more engaged, more energetic? The best way I can equate this is 2 major moves in my life. 1, When I eat extremely green and nutrient rich, I get a lean, clean energy. If you've ever done that for like 3 days, if you've been eating a lot of carbs and just kind of junk food, you'll feel this leaner, cleaner energy and you start to vibrate at a higher frequency, right? The other side of this is where you're really thinking about, okay, what do I need to do here to serve the world, to put good information in the world, to live at that higher frequency there? And that comes back to the info identity loop. Like, think of it like this. You keep reading negative, neutral things and it keeps pushing your frequency down. But you know as well as I do, if somebody's passionate about what they're talking about, like I hope you feel I am today, that this is popping your frequency up. You're like, dude, I want to do something about this. I hope that I'm empowering you to do that. But this is the piece. You want to vibrate at a higher frequency. So really think about this from your perspective. What are the things you're eating, reading, watching, doing, or the things that are around you that are tampering or just pushing down the frequency? So you're just, versus, yeah, let's go. Big difference. You follow? I hope that's clear for you. If it is, pop something below. It's like, you know what? I'm going to commit to reading this instead of this. I'm going to commit to watching this instead of this. One thing that I did, this may be extremely helpful for you as an illustration, is I used to watch 3 different shows back to back on TV and Netflix, and they were 30-minute shows each. So I said, you know what? Those shows are not moving me forward to help improve people's lives or grow business. Although I did find them relaxing, and I want to make sure you know, if you find that as a recharge, cool. But I said, let me try for a week. Instead of 3 shows back to back, 3 different books, 3 different topics. I had to find that out the hard way. And I read 3 books, 30 minutes each. And at the end of the week, assess where I was at. I can tell you without a doubt, I was vibrating at a much higher frequency. Like all these ideas were stimulated. You follow? So those books that I read at the time, Find Your Why by Simon Sinek, the Start With Why book. The other book at the time was The Charge by Brendon Burchard. And then the third one was Entrepreneurial Roller Coaster. And that was really, really powerful too. So these are the things that I hope you're seeing that example. Finally, I really want to solidify this advanced strategy. With everything we've taught today, energy flows, where attention goes. And you probably heard that. So my job for you in light of everything we've taught here and everything we've taught here in advanced strategies to increase focus and simplify is what are you focused on that really helps you and others, and where's your energy? So you're going to see it show up in all these things we've talked about. You know, when we think about the info identity piece, what's the energy that I'm getting from it and what am I doing with it towards what I want to be focused on? And if you don't have any idea what you want to be focused on, then you and I need to talk, because there's probably things I can pull out. I've been told to be the theme whisperer, the personality whisperer, the business, like you can tell me stuff and I'll be like, oh, you know what? You're gifted in these areas. A tactician, you're gifted with creativity, you're gifted here. Here's some ideas for you. I can even send you to websites that help you assess that. Really powerful. So that all being said, we've got about 10 minutes left today. How are we doing so far? How are we doing with this training? Did any of this help? You have that idea, at least a sensation or a visualization or a feeling of increase in focus by reducing, eliminating overwhelm, stress, getting more clear to have a simpler life. I go into people's houses and I see people that have very minimal things, and I've just sensed with those people, on the average, not everybody, that they're a little or a lot more happier than people that are bombarded with like just stuff everywhere. And that's a simple life. That's kind of the arc of what we've had here. When you think about what's the info I'm watching that's telling me I need stuff, and this is completely contradictory to that. And then the idea of clean up, set up, level up. Dial in your frequency. Is this stomping your frequency out, lowering it, or is it raising it? That's where this all comes together. So I hope you're feeling it. All right, this ends the training piece. Now it's time for tactics. And I want to thank Wendy for working with me this week. She has an amazing personal performance assessment. And we've been working together to really own this for her. This is her gate opener to serving the world. Much like my assessment, the life assessment we went through here, and the Wheel of Perspective. These are gateways to how I can help people. When they're struggling in these areas, then I have things they can do and I can help them even one-on-one to up-level. This is hers. And what I want to do is 2 parts for the tactics today. One, I'm going to read one of her assessment statements, and this is the very first one. And I'm gonna, as a sort of added bonus for everything we've covered today, you're gonna feel how this helps from another perspective, really own it. And two, I'm gonna break it down of how you can teach it. Wendy and I did this work and I asked permission from her to do it again, to share it with you. So if you want Wendy's assessment, it's available at bit.ly/monthlyhealth. And this is, I think it's maybe not the total complete version, but we'd love your feedback on how you feel about it. Cool? So it's over there, grab that, and then let us know what you're coming up for you, comment below, because we'll be asking for you to get the real one once it's complete. I think this is like 70 or 90% complete. So today's goal with tactics is this, is to help you understand how you can create your own assessment, even just for yourself, to really own a lot of what we've taught here, but how you can teach it to others. And I want to make sure you get this breakthrough. The best way to integrate things that help you is to teach them to others. If you teach them to others many times or coach them, you reintegrate because you're telling them and you're asking yourself at the same time. For example, when I ask people, how's your energy been the last week? I'm not like just throwing that out. I'm like, how's my energy been the last week? People are like, dude, my energy's been awesome. And I'm like, yeah, my energy's been okay, but I know what I did that I need to shift. Follow? This is the kind of way that works. So her statement goes like this. My ambition, let me frame it first. Growth mindset. Here's the statement under growth mindset. The topic, growth mindset. My ambition is to be the best I can be. I am open-minded enough to explore new possibilities on ways to perform at higher levels, both personally and professionally. Now, what Wendy and I worked through is this. We said if we were going to teach this one, let's see, 2 sentences under growth mindset, how could we teach that? And I said, you know what you have to do, and this is something we teach in business and internet mastery, is you have, for each of these segments or ideas, you have to have a theme, got that, growth mindset, a story, training, and a challenge. So here's how that breaks down. When we broke out this idea of if people were to get to a 10 on this particular item, that's the ambition. And that's what we call ambition-based training. That's what I do. It's where we lay out an ambition and we realize that people are down here, and then we draw a line and then we draw slashes that help them grow towards the ambition. You follow? So what we had to do with this statement is we broke it out into 5 different areas. First, my ambition is to be the best I can be. So best is the very first step towards having the growth mindset and living of what we would call a more fully charged life. So inside the best model, what's the theme? The theme is to be the best you can be. What's the story? She can develop a story where somebody wasn't the best they could be and they were, or she wasn't and she could be. Then a training. And my challenge is to think about books or think about 1, 2, or 3 steps that can help you be the best. For the context of what we've taught today, and Wendy, I'm so thankful that you're letting me do this because this is so much fun. We think about, okay, what is the best version of me? It goes right back to what we talked about over here. You put out a piece of paper, here's the best version of me. And if you're kind of drawing a blank, think about the different roles you have in life. For myself, the best version of me. For those in my family, the best version of me. For those my friends, the best version of me. For in work, the best version of me. For me, in the world, putting goodwill in the world, what's the best version of me, right? So there's a lot of training that she could do in that realm towards that end. And then the challenge, so what are you putting in play right now to make sure you're doing something along the lines of defining the best version of you? You follow? That's the first, this is just one sentence in a statement. Next, I am open-minded enough to explore new possibilities on the way to perform at higher levels, both personally and professionally. There's a lot of meat there. So the next piece is open-minded. How open-minded are you? Then you demonstrate with a story, people who aren't open-minded, maybe that shifted to be more open-minded, and document their breakthrough. And then you do some training to help people get that next step for them to open their mind a little bit. There's a lot of people I've worked with over the last 25 years who at one point were open-minded and then they got into a fixed mindset, and I call them kind of grumpy, and they just, that kind of thing, right? So we teach to be more open-minded. So it's a real simple question from coaching. It's, if I was the most open-minded about this topic, and it's usually a topic they're struggling with, here's how I would think, behave, and be. And I would even add to that, here's the things that would come out of my mouth. And it helps them form sentences. I like to call those sentence starters. You feel the training part? I hope you're getting this. Then the last piece is the challenge. What is it going to take for you to say those sentences more? That they come out of your mouth with heart, not intellectual, like, yeah, I'm saying this, but you can tell I don't mean it. That's a piece. Third piece, along the ambition line with this one idea or two sentences, is possibilities. The framing was new possibilities on the way to perform at higher levels, both personally and professionally, like to explore new possibilities. So that again goes along with, it's a maybe more advanced topic than open-mindedness, but it's about being possibility oriented versus being the kind of person who's like, that's not possible for me. So you tell a story. I hope you're feeling how this kind of works, about possibilities and about how, like what's that guy? He's got no arms, no legs, Nick, I can't think of Vijik or something. He's on YouTube. He's a motivational speaker where you would think he'd have no possibilities, and he opened up a world of major possibilities. So you may share his story or his idea of what he went through and struggled with to frame. Then you dive into some training that helps people open their mind towards having more possibility in their life. And then finally you challenge them on it, right? So that's how we kind of operate. I want to recap for you. The story follows the theme. The theme, in this case, possibility, in that case, open-minded, in this case being the best version of yourself. And then we have training that helps them. And then as a coach, bam, challenge them. Follow? Yeah, let's rock this. Next, personal performance and professional performance. So this is really, it's really actually very easy when you think about this statement. You would teach in that particular, this could be a course module, this could be a video, it could be whatever it is, that you teach people to say, here's where I'm performing now, and maybe they're not in their mind about what they're trying to accomplish. Here's where I want to perform, and then help them bridge the gap with specific trainings and stories that relate. See, here's what we know. The power of story opens people up to receive the training. You've ever been in something where you're getting trained and it's kind of like, don't want to see this is boring. They haven't primed you, got behind you, got passionate about it to really help you open up. You follow? So that's the pieces. Wendy, I hope this helps because this is everything about her owning her particular assessment in the world to really help others with their personal performance. So the big part of this, kind of recapping what we just talked about, is lay out an ambition line for each one of these 7 statements, and then break out the phrasing so that you can teach for each of those. Now, what I talked through with her is that each of these might be one module in a course. Each of these might be parts in the module that are 10, 20, 30 minutes each. So with that being framed, she could teach this ambition line in a half-day training in person. She could teach just this ambition line as a day training where you do group work around these things. You follow? This big part of this is putting, as we talked about that trifecta of happiness, learning something new, creating from what you've learned, and sharing it with the world. That integrates it for us. So your action list is this. You develop 1 to 2 sentences, just like Wendy did. You draw your ambition line. I'll write that in for you so you got it. If I'm writing, you should be writing. If you got your notes out, big part of that. Third, you think about and document the themes, the stories, the vignettes, even related books that can help people with this particular topic, each of those areas in the ambition line. And your teachable points, I usually aim for 1 to 3 in a smaller training. Today we did 5. And then you think about the challenges, usually 1 to 3 challenges per part. You know, we talked about the idea of get the sheet out. First challenge is to write down the best version of you. Another one is to get another sheet out and write down the not so best version of you. So there's 2 challenges right there, right? 2 different sheets. And then be able to go multi-day training deep. We kind of illustrated that too. Let me write all this in for you. So if you're taking notes, themes, story, vignette, training, challenge, and be able to go multi-training training day deep. What does that mean? I think I covered that for you, but the idea is this, is that you can teach this in an incredibly deep way. Yeah, it's going to require you to have your own learning journey, right? That's part of being in the world of leading a life of ambition. So that's the piece. And then finally, share clips of it on live casts, value videos, and more. You'll see, there's a sort of side note as we close out today's beautiful training with you, that I'll take clips of this hour-long training and I'll share them as snippets. Now, I've trained myself to teach in module, like in parts. So I could clip out this piece where I taught you this, and then put it out there and say, this is all part of our monthly mastery training. And if you want the other parts, go watch them here, here, and here, or join our monthly mastery community and watch the entire replay, get the audio, and even champion you on, like get support for this. You follow? So I hope with everything we've covered today, and we'll wrap up real quick for you, is we've gone over perspective, we've gone over some strategies to up-level these areas, and then we've also dived deep into the tactics to make sure you get the idea that if you create something in the world and share it, that it's helping you grow too. And that, my friend, is true health, wealth, and happiness. So that all being said, you know I'm here to help you live purposefully, passionately, positively, productively, and I'll put a star by that. Not getting more done per se, getting the right things done. Remember your life's ambitions, ticker, and of course, profitably too. We're going to have that conversation in about an hour in our Business and Internet Monthly Mastery. If you want to get in on that, comment below, let me know. I'm happy to help you out. Thank you so incredibly much for your energy, your love, and I'll catch you guys in about an hour. Have a good one. See ya. Bye. Hoorah.